Today is Wednesday, February 2, 2022. This is a daily chart of the S&P 500. Another update, fourth one of gains, consecutive gains. Today was up 42 points, pushing above very strong resistance to moving averages of 20 and the 100. Didn't think it could push above those moving averages after 2, 3 big consecutive updates, but it did it. Big momentum. That was very impressive. I liquidated my position today, early this morning. Today was the same pattern as the previous session, gapped up, sold off, and quickly bounced. Well, today, this morning, did exactly the same thing, gapped up, sold off, didn't think. I sold near the lows of the day. I didn't think it would reverse higher and push back above all these moving averages, those two moving averages, but it did. I'm out. It was a good trade. And I think normally I would say that based on the magnitude of this move from the low all the way to the high, today's high, such a big move that I don't think it's going to consolidate up here. It is more likely to pull back, which means it would dip below these moving averages before making the next move. I don't think it's going to do something like this and consolidate above these moving averages, really. I think the most likely scenario would be a dip, and if anything, consolidate down here. But we'll see. Yeah, for tomorrow, if we end up trading above these moving averages and dip below that, that will be very bearish, and that will confirm a short-term reversal, which means that the trend will no longer be up short-term, and we'll see where the dip stops. Definitely, there'll be lots of support areas. I see two here, that moving average and these moving averages here, the 10 and the 200. But who knows once we pull back if it's going to shoot back up or it's going to continue going down and go back to these lows down here. Play session by session. So take a look at the NASDAQ 100. This is a daily chart. Very similar pattern. Price action for the day as the S&P 500 gapped up, sold off, dipping below these moving averages and that support. At that point, I liquidated my position thinking it would continue going down and wouldn't be able to go push back up above these moving averages and support level and resistance levels, but it did. Anyways, I liquidated my entire position. I will wait for the next setup. Obviously, I want low risk, big reward with a highly predictable outcome. For tomorrow, these are the levels that I'll be watching. If we end up trading above these moving averages, a dip below the moving averages will be very bearish, and that will confirm a trend of change of trend short term. Down here, support levels, moving averages. So I would expect some type of choppy price action around this area. Anything down here, between here and here, I'm not interested. As I said, it will be very choppy and very difficult to predict price action. And if we end up trading higher, I will not be interested in buying, as I know that any day there will be a pullback. Such a big move, I don't think that will be the path of least resistance to buy up here. I would just wait and look for the next opportunity, whether it's long or short. Now let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This chart looks beautiful. Back above all moving averages. Big move, same as the other indices, up 4 days in a row. If it continues and stays up here, which I think will be very unlikely, but it's hard to tell as this is very strong support now. Was resistance, was able to push above that. Let's see if it continues. If it does, then it will be very, very bullish. This is the strongest of all the indices, back above all these moving averages. If it wasn't for this magnitude of this move, this wave up 4 days in a row, I'll say that it will continue much higher. But for now, I think it would be reasonable to expect a light pullback or some type of consolidation. And we'll see where it wants to go after that. Push higher or lower. But it looks very strong. I wouldn't be shorting. Up next is a Philly Semiconductor Index. This one, bullish. Also, same price action intraday as the other indices. Didn't see any type of support or resistance between here and here. But now it's approaching these moving averages, so expect very strong resistance, especially after this big move up. Here, expect some type of consolidation or pullback. I will not be buying, of course. I will wait and see if there's another opportunity, perhaps pull back and then push higher. One likely scenario, or pull back all the way down to these moving averages and then dip lower. That could be a short opportunity, but down here, between here and here, this area, I think it will be very choppy. I don't think there will be a good opportunity there until, like I said, above this level or below this level. But let's play a session by session. But this chart is still like the other indices. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Now it's was able to push above moving averages, and it's still under other moving averages. So we'll see where it wants to go from here. Now let's take a look at the small cap week IWM. This one, very very weak. It's been the weakest of all the indices, and today was no exception. All the other indices were pushing higher, and this one was moving lower. As you can see, ended up closing lower for the day. Negative for the day. It was the only one that closed negative in the red. Found resistance up here as expected, but it is still above these moving averages. So I'll say we'll see what happens today. Tomorrow or the following session. See if it can consolidate, stay up here. If it starts dipping below these moving averages, then that will be very bearish. And most likely it will dip down. Who knows how far? Maybe all the way down here. But at that point, once it dips below this moving averages, a path of least resistance will be south. We'll be watching IWM very closely tomorrow as I get clues as far as how the other indices might behave. If this one's going to lead the other indices or the other way around. But this one looks like it wants to go lower. Thanks for watching. Good luck trading tomorrow.